Hello, everybody, and happy Monday evening. It's Anne, the Stamp Maven here. I'm glad you could join me. I'm going to show you some fun things to do with Designer Series paper. Hopefully show you some things you don't know. I've got my best hair clip on. I just wanted to say hi so you could see who I am if you've never seen one of my lives before. And I'm going to switch the camera around so we can get started. It'll just take me a little minute here to flip us around, and then we will get rolling. Hey, Carol, you made it. Good deal. All right. All right. Do I have you guys? Well, wait a minute. Oops, wait a minute. Here we go. There we go. Hey, Denise. So glad you could join in tonight. And Carol, that must mean you are not in your RV running around the Texas countryside. All right. Well, some of you may have heard of Kylie Bertucci, who is a demonstrator in Australia. She has a system called Love It, Chop It, something or other, I forget the name of it, where she teaches people to chop up their whole Designer Series paper. Well, that doesn't work as well for me because I do classes and I mail out packets. And I also, in my other job, I am the HR manager and I send out all the birthday cards. So I wanted to show you a little thing that I kind of discovered, and I hope it will help you. So tonight, we're going to be working with 6x6 pieces of cardstock, and I'm using the Flowers for Every Season 6x6 Designer Series paper. But I also wanted to show you, if you have 12 by 12 paper, if you cut it in half, which would then be 6 by 12, and then chop these up, they would be 6 by 6, and you'd have 4 different squares to show you what I'm going to do tonight. Oh, okay. Let me move let me move my camera just a little bit here. Is that better? Okay, let me know if you can see that. Okay, so what I want to show you first is, here is a piece of my 6x6 Designer Series paper. Okay, so what I do with a lot of my cards, and here is one where I did it, I use a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I either cut it lengthwise at 4 1/4, and then it's 11, and then you score it at 5 1/2, so you have this card that opens on the top. Or this one I'm going to show you in a minute, I used Whisper White cardstock, and I did it same 8.5 by 11, but I cut it at 5 1/2. Then I scored it at 4 1/4, so it's a side open. You know, either one works just fine. So what I did with this piece, and here's the card that I started with, okay? I first put this in my trimmer, and I cut it at 4 inches, and then I cut it this way at 5 1/4. So I ended up with this big piece, this smaller piece, and then I ended up with this 2-inch piece and this little small piece here at the bottom. So if you just used your 6x6 piece, you would end up with these 4 pieces. If you use 12 by 12 paper and cut it into 4 squares, then you would end up with 4 of these. Okay? So then what I did is I took this 4 by 5 1/4. This became my background. So I didn't have to run it through an embossing folder or do anything else. You could use a piece of Whisper White, okay? I wanted to come up with something that would work no matter what supplies you had. So you could, well, I didn't cut this right, my white, but I wanted to show you. You could do this on Whisper White, or if your DSP had vanilla, you could use that. So what I did was I adhered this down. Then I used my Forever Fern dies and stamp set, stamped it. I made a little tag with the coordinating cinnamon cider color in here. Used one of my die cuts and these little enamel dots, and I made this hello card. Okay, so let's put one together, kind of a similar idea, but with different colors and different pieces, okay? I tried to do some of this ahead of time so you wouldn't be as bored in watching this. Now, believe it or not, this paper is out of that same stack, the Flowers for Every Season. And the cool thing is there's 2 sides. So if you like this side better, you could do something with it here. Hey, from Indiana, Patricia, how are you doing? But I wanted to use this stripe. So what I'm going to do is use my Stampin' Seal. And if you haven't tried this adhesive, it is wonderful. It is much sturdier than our regular snail was, and it stays where you put it. All right, so here's another little trick. Some of my customers have a hard time putting down their layers straight. If you put down the corners first, the diagonals, either one, and then you smooth it down there, you will get it straight most of the time, and you won't have to be ripping it off. Now, what I did, okay, so there's my base, and it looks, you know, the same cutting dimensions. Of course, the paper's different. Then what I did is I cut out these cute little daisies using our daisy punch. And I'm going to just put a little adhesive on the back. And I'm going to just tuck it under here. Put one there. And let me just get another little one. I'm going to just offset this one a little, and then the last one I'm going to do down here, okay? Then ahead of time, I took, and I'm going to show you this stamp set on another project. If you have not used this Make a Difference stamp set, oh my goodness, it is so cool when using this technique because you've got a little alphabet here. You've got the uppercase letters, you've got the lowercase letters, you've got some block, smaller letters and numbers. Excuse me. You can write out any greeting. So if you don't have one that fits, you can make your own. And in the next card, I'm going to show you that. So on this, I just use the word the letters H and I. So I didn't have to double stamp anything because there's different letters in this. And I just cut out a square of the same Bumblebee cardstock. Okay, and I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive there. All right. And then I for when I mail my cards, I don't often use dimensionals because I want them to lay flat, especially when I mail birthday cards. So there's our simple little card. Looks totally different than this one, but same dimensions of paper. Now, one other thing you could do is take some little embellishments. If you wanted to step it up and put these little flower centers here. These are in the annual catalog, these little gold ones. And voila, that steps it up. Okay, so that is these two. Now look, okay, that uses this piece. All right, now here's the next card. And we're going to use, I used this piece, which was 2 inches. And if you notice, most cards, or I should say many cards that you use, your layer is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. So since this is 6 by 6, if you chop it here at 4, you're going to have that 2-inch strip every time on every 6 by 6, or if you use the 12 by 12 and chop it 4 times. Well, how many times do you just either think, oh, I'm going to just stick it to the side and maybe I'll use this again? No, what you want to do is keep these strips because you can make wonderful all occasion cards. So I made one here, and what I did, I used that little strip of DSP. I actually backed it. This is 2 by 5 1/4, and then I just made my Just Jade cardstock 1/8 of an inch bigger all the way around. And then I didn't have any washi tape that matched this. Let me see if I can get the end here because I want to show you. Okay, see how this is like 1/2 inch? Well, all you need to do is cut a strip of cardstock at 1/2 inch, and you could run it through an embossing folder if you wanted. You could stamp a background on it, and it works really well. I just also then tied some linen thread around here, and I did my die cut with Just Jade to kind of step it up. Hey, Kelly. And then what I did was I took my letters and for happy, and let's go ahead and do that. So what I did was I took the H, and let me make sure you're in the vision here. Now, happy has 2 P's. This stamp set doesn't have 2 P's, but you know what? It is not a big deal. And then where is my Y? Right here. Okay, and these are so small, you do need to keep track of them. Okay, so I've got H-A-P, and then I'm going to put the Y about right here. Yeah, is that right? Let me give it a little more room. Okay, then what I did, I just took my ink, and I'm going to show you in this pink color. I just inked this up. Let me get my piercing mat since this is a photopolymer stamp. Okay, and then I stamped here. Okay, look what I did. I left a spot right here. So now I can clean off my stamp with my chamois. And you know what? It looks very ugly, but all you have to do is rinse it out and you can use it again. Okay, now I'm going to take off these other letters and I'm going to put them over here in my case so I don't misplace them. Now I'm going to ink up this P again, and then I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to stamp that P for happy. Hey, Rana. Hey, Kelly Greeley. So you could stamp any greeting you wanted. You could stamp hello, hi, happy. You could get birthday, all sorts of things. So let's go back to our card here. All right. So here's the one I did, and I don't know if you can see it, but I actually, in this stamp set is the word, well, wait a minute. It's not in this stamp set. I got the birthday from my little itty bitty greetings, and then I just stamped birthday on the Just Jade cardstock and cut it out. How easy is that? This could become any occasion card. So I'm going to show you right here how we're going to do that. Now, I used the magenta, or Magenta Madness color, because I love it. But if you wanted to, you could use, again, the white. So see, that little piece that I cut off will fit on each one. So I'm going to take my adhesive, okay, and we are going to pop it right on here. Now this time I didn't back it like I did on this card. See right here, the Just Jade. On here, I just put it down because, you know, some of us have been stamping for a long time, and some of us own just about everything that Stampin' Up! Sells. As a demonstrator, you get a pretty good discount, so that lets you buy a little more, I would say. And we actually do have an awesome special this month, so if you might be interested in that, leave me a comment. Anywho, okay, so then I cut this bumblebee paper like I showed you for that other card with the cinnamon cider, because I don't have the washi tape in those colors. So I'm going to put that right down, and I got a little too crazy with my adhesive, but that's okay. All right. Now, I had cut this ribbon, and I was talking too much, so I didn't do it, but you could put your ribbon right under this strip, bring it around, and tie it to give it a little more oomph. But if you wanted to just make a simple card, I stamped this greeting, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. Well, could be a birthday, could be a shower, could be all sorts of different things. So let's pop this down, and then I'm going to show you. Remember this little piece that I showed you of this pattern right here? Look what I did. I took my butterfly punch, and I punched out a little butterfly. So what I'm going to do is grab a glue dot here. I'm going to put that behind, so nothing's going to waste. And I'm going to pop that little butterfly right there. So an easy peasy card. You can reproduce this over and over and over again with scraps, or if you wanted to just cut them all. Now look, I've got another one to show you. We had this piece right here. Well, what I decided to do was grab one of our little mini note cards, and you can also just make this out of a piece of 6x3 Whisper White cardstock, scored at 3 inches, and we sell these little envelopes. So then what I did is I cut my Just Jade cardstock, and then I stamped "You're the Happy to My Day," I chopped off this little piece to fit right on that card. And then I took, I don't know if you can see here, this is a little leaf. And it's this punch right here. It's this little leaf punch right here. Well, you might not have that leaf punch, but you probably have a heart or even a little circle. I took a glue dot and just put it back here, and this can become a cute little note for an office mate. All right, now I've got another card to show you here. Okay, remember all of them. Remember this strip? Okay, this is 4 inches by 3/4 inches. So let's say you made a bunch of cards using this paper. And in these designer series papers, 6x6, you get 4 sheets of each one of these pieces. So if you used these, then you would have extra pieces like these left over. So what I did, and I'm going to put this together right here and show you. This is my card base, and it is Whisper White. It is cut down at 4 inches, and then this is 11, opening at the top. Then this piece that goes on top here is 3 3/4. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I tell you the right measurements here. Let me do this. Okay, it is 4 1/2 this way by 3 1/2. So that should be easy to remember. The reason I chose that is because then it'll have the same border all the way around when you pop it on top. So then I have got a bunch of these strips that are 4 by 3 1/4. What I'm going to do is get my adhesive going here. Okay, I am just going to put these, let me make sure I'm on the camera. Okay, I'm going to put these down starting at the top of my piece. Okay, like that. And I am not going to worry that this is sticking out of the end. And you are not going to worry about that either. Okay? And if you don't have one of these great little silicone mats, it is so good because I don't know if you've noticed, I've been gluing, but the glue doesn't stick. All right. And then we're going to pop this one right here, and there's actually going to be 6 of them, and I'm going to alternate them. I actually have I have a project on my blog this week where you can see another way I use these fun strips like this. And you know, a lot of our paper packs go together, even if the patterns are a little different, the colors are the same. So experiment. If you've got scraps left over, just think about how you can use them in this kind of a card design. All right, we've got 2 more to go here. There is 1. Then, did I get my pattern? Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to put this one on here. All right. Let me get it on there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over, grab my scissors where I buried them somewhere. Here they are. My paper snips. You could also put it in a trimmer. And then all I'm going to do is let these little pieces fall off. You could measure it ahead of time, but I think it's much easier to just get the strips on. And, you know, even though I am a frugal paper person, I'm not going to save these. I know, bad, bad, bad. Okay, now we're going to take our piece that we created and pop my adhesive on the back. I'm going to stick this down on the front. And then I made this little tag. Do you remember on this card here? It's the same punch. I just turned it this way. So when you invest in Stampin' Up! Products, hey, Linda Knight Brady, so glad you could join us tonight. When you invest in Stampin' Up! Products, think outside the box because, you know, most of us don't have an endless supply of money, especially during this COVID. But with a few basic supplies, you can make them work for you over and over again. So what I did is I used, if you guys haven't seen this Banner Year stamp set, oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite products in the mini catalog. It has got Christmas sayings, Thanksgiving, Halloween. It's got a little bat. It's got even like a Valentine heart envelope, a little spider web. And I love the fall, and I love all of the pumpkins and things for Halloween. I love giving little treats at work and to neighbors, but I'm not really into all this scary, gross stuff. So I love this, and it comes as a bundle with a punch too, that you can use all these sweet little sayings. So I did the Guess Who Loves You and the little heart, and then I used these enamel dots that are in colors this year. So the magenta, the bumblebee, the jade, the misty moonlight, and the cinnamon. So then I'm going to just, and see, I made a boo-boo when I first started doing this, but hey, Stampin' Up! Paper has two sides, woohoo! And then I am just going to pop this right on the front. So look at this. Okay, now I did cut some of these ahead of time, but look at how many cards I've shown you tonight just from Designer Series paper, some of it scraps. Now, one more thing. Oh, here are the two more things. Here are the little enamel dots that I was going to show you. Let me take them out of the package because you might be able to see them a little better. Aren't those fun? And you just can take them off with your Take a Pick tool, or you can use your paper snips. Okay, now here's one more thing I wanted to show you. Who knows what this is? It is a die cut piece, and it is the top of a pineapple. Okay, well, when I was doing this card right here, it took me a while to find these little leaves that I wanted to put on there. But look at this. I thought, well, heck, I could turn this pineapple top upside down. I could tie my twine around here, and I could have put this on my card. Isn't that fun? It almost looks like some leaves all together. I would not have known that is a pineapple top if I got a card with that. So here is how it might look without that other stuff on there. Isn't that fun? So the point of me telling you this is when you've got dies and you've invested the money, play around with it. You know, you've got scraps of probably Whisper White and vanilla cardstock. You could even use copy paper to punch it out and then play around with it. But I hope that maybe I've given you some ideas. Hey, Donna, that you can use your scraps or you can make your cuts a little differently. Now, let's say that you wanted to do a bunch of cards like this. You know, everybody you know has a birthday, right? So you probably, especially during COVID, since you can't maybe go out and about and get together as much, maybe sending a birthday card. Well, if you like a layout like this or like this, and you could use whatever greeting you had. You don't need to do it like I did it. I just wanted to show you that you could make up your own greetings, and then if you put things on a big block, it makes it much easier to stamp. But with this paper right here, where it's 12 by 6, if you just cut it at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, you're going to have all of those pieces that you can just stick on. Cut your cardstock, your base, do a bunch of them all at once. Then you've got your strips. You could do it like this card where you didn't even have to put a die cut. Just do your greeting, strip or washi tape, and then some fun little element on there. If you didn't want to punch it, you could even use a one of these or 2 or 3 of these little elements that I used. So many different options. Well, guys, thanks for popping in tonight. If you want to leave me a question, put it in the comments and I will definitely see it. I'm going to post this recording if you want to come back and look. And if I can help you with any products that you need to order, you can just go to stampinup.com and put my name, Anne Brown, in as your demonstrator, and I would really appreciate that. Okie doke. Have a good evening, guys.